Our news is brought to you by Alive.
Tonight on our news, Bella Walker's mother granted bail. 20,000 doses of the J&J vaccine to expire by year's end. And 'tis the season for tighter COVID restrictions? Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. I'm Christina Dragovich. Topping news tonight, a Supreme Court judge has granted the mother of 4-year-old Bella Walker bail. In an affidavit, the woman said she's in a confused state of mind and must receive counseling. Kyle Joaquin has been following this story and has the latest developments.
Authorities did not bring her to court, but in an emergency bail hearing, 29-year-old Estonia Walker, the mother of Bella Walker, has been granted bail in the amount of $20,000 with 1 or 2 shorties by Supreme Court Justice Gilomena Archer-Mintz. It's just the latest twist in this saga as little Bella awaits burial. Earlier this month, Bella's mother was charged with exposing the 4-year-old to grievous harm and cruelty, while her boyfriend was charged with murder. In court today, Walker's attorneys Barry Sawyer and Rodrika Strawn read an affidavit taken from her on November 25th. In it, the child's mother says at the time of her death, she was at work at the Registrar General's Department and left her in the care of 33-year-old Darian Smith, her boyfriend. She said as she left the child with him, she did not know how her child met her untimely demise, but she said she was taken to the morgue to identify the child's remains. In that affidavit, Walker continued saying she is a single mother and not a flight risk. She said she is in a confused state of mind and must receive counseling. If granted bail, she promised in that affidavit that she would attend all counseling sessions and said her aunt would assure she did. Walker says she would ensure the proper endowment of the child. Her attorney argued that Walker grew up on Grand Bahama and spent time in Abaco and only moved to Nassau for financial reasons. The prosecution had no objection to bail as Walker has no previous convictions or pending matters. In making her decision, the Supreme Court Justice noted this fact and that with offenses like these, bail is routinely granted. Walker will also have to hand over her passport and report to the Wolf Road Police Station on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays by 7 p.m. Now, this latest development comes as a court battle continues to determine which side of Bella's family gets to make her funeral arrangements. On the other side of Bank Lane, the court battle continues as Bella's maternal grandmother seeks to have her body removed from Serenity Funeral Home out of the care of the child's paternal family, allowing her maternal relatives to make funeral arrangements. The matter is being heard privately before Justice Lauren Klein, with a ruling expected by the end of the week. Bella's mother returns to court on September 17, 2022, for the start of trial. For Our News, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
In other news, about 20,000 doses of the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine are set to expire by the end of the year, according to Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Michael Darville.
We have about 20,000 doses of Johnson & Johnson that the expiration date appears to be at the end of this year, simply because when the Pfizer vaccine was introduced, the appetite for the Johnson & Johnson declined.
As of November 27th, over 146,000 people were fully vaccinated. Darville says health officials are doing all they can to encourage Bahamians to get vaccinated, including launching mobile sites and offering incentives. The health minister was also asked for an update on the return of the holiday carnival. He says a committee will meet tomorrow to make a final decision.
As far as I understand, all of the preliminary requirements are in, and all the applications have been received. So with that being said, when our committee makes the final decision on Wednesday, that will determine the fate for Carnival.
Well, as a new variant of the coronavirus spreads across the globe, Minister of Health Dr. Michael Darville says officials are not ruling out expanding a travel ban beyond 8 African nations. He hinted that recently relaxed COVID safety protocols may be adjusted this holiday season. Jasmine Brown reports.
Health officials are keeping a close eye on the spread of the new variant, and it could mean more restrictions soon.
We are watching it. Our travel advisory was clear with the restrictions, and as we followed the day-to-day issues as it relates to the new variant, we must be mindful that there may be some additional changes as it relates to our borders and some of our protocols.
On Sunday, the government announced travel restrictions on individuals who have visited 8 African countries as a result of the spread of the new variant. Darville called the situation fluid, as he revealed there is a lot currently being discussed by the Ministry of Health's technical team, including requiring PCR tests for those entering the country.
We have been considering it from the first day we learned about the virus and the new mutation. Our borders are one of the most vulnerable areas for the importation of this new strain. And so that is being discussed, and within a few days we will make a final decision.
South African scientists have been praised for first detecting the new variant and alerting global health authorities to it last week. Since then, the variant has now spread to about 20 other countries, amid mounting concern that it could be significantly easier to pass on from person to person. On Sunday, Canadian officials revealed the variant has reached North America. Japan and France confirmed their first cases on Tuesday. Dr. Darville says so far there is no sign of the variant in the Bahamas, but he noted the National Reference Lab has been put on alert as the new variant's impact on the current health and safety protocols.
We are definitely going to see in the Christmas season the possibility of new protocols, and vaccines, we believe, are definitely essential for us to be able to fight any particular strain that would come in the country.
Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Acting Prime Minister Glenys Hannah Martin chaired this morning's cabinet meeting on behalf of Prime Minister Philip Davis, who led a delegation to Bridgetown, Barbados on Monday. She called it an honor.
What does this feel like? Very weighty and very serious, even though it's just for a fleeting moment in time. It's a hefty obligation, and I take it seriously.
Deputy Prime Minister Chester Cooper is also out of the country. He led a delegation to Zurich, Switzerland to participate in the GAD World Event Airport Development and Finance Conference. Hannah Martin will serve as acting PM until December 3rd.
I've been sitting in cabinet now for several terms. It's my third term. It's an awesome experience. I haven't had it yet. I'm going to go do it now, but you know, I'm very respectful of where fate has brought me, and I'll do my best.
Well, mostly clear skies outside our studios. Greg Thompson is in the Weather Center with the details.
Thanks, Christina. Welcome everybody for your first look at weather on this pleasant Tuesday evening. Temperatures outside our studios very comfortable, 73 degrees under mostly clear skies. Your winds out of the northeast at around 6 miles per hour, and your feels like temperature very comfortable, 70 degrees. Satellite view, that front boundary that pushed through the capital yesterday is now in the deep south across the southeast Bahamas. Some cloudiness associated with that down there, as well as maybe an isolated shower. But a high pressure system and very pleasant air mass in place across our area will continue that trend through tonight and into tomorrow. That's your first look at weather. Stay with us. Your extended forecast is still to come.
Still to come on our news, government officials sign an air service agreement with Germany. And sniffer dogs are learning the smell of coronavirus. Find out more after this.
Get that glorious internet connection back in business within seconds with the new self-help modem reset. Just follow these very easy steps. Step 1, call 601-2200 or 242-300-2200. Number 2, select option 3. Step 3, select option 2. Step 4, enter your 8-digit account number. Step 5, follow the prompts. It's really that simple. Rev, you and us together.
The Bahamas government signing an air service agreement with the Federal Republic of Germany today. Acting Aviation Minister Alfred Sears says it will allow for direct movement between the two countries.
With this bilateral agreement, it will facilitate direct air travel between the Commonwealth of the Bahamas and the Federal Republic of Germany, and also in terms of the movement not only of people but also of goods.
We do suspect or would believe that direct air travel will be facilitated by this agreement.
German Ambassador Dr. Stefan Kiel says there were direct flights between the two countries in the past and expressed his hope that this will resume. He explains the agreement is simply a legal framework.
This sets, so to speak, the legal framework. In this agreement, we accord to each other overflight rights, landing rights, and all kinds of rights. And this will, as the minister said, facilitate the exchange of flights. And of course, that would be the aim. But this right now is the legal basis. And we hope, of course, that in the near future, but we could at the moment not indicate you a time frame.
Well, it's been more than 7 months after a fire destroyed 6 stalls on Potter's Key Dock, but vendors have yet to receive supplies to rebuild, according to Minister Clay Sweeting. In June, then Agriculture and Marine Resources Minister Michael Pintard said $142,000 was allocated for building supplies and labor. However, on Monday, officials said $97,000 was allocated for building supplies and $42,000 for dock piling from the Ministry of Works.
I mean, it wasn't really no plan in place. It was just some funding to facilitate the persons that had their stalls burnt in the fire. But those supplies would only be for supplies, so they would still in turn have to construct the facilities themselves. So it wasn't enough funds to replace all 6 stalls.
He added the money is still on an account at a construction supplies store, adding they're working to have the supplies released.
So we had some issues when I took the chair because of the transition in government with the funds being, well, not the funds, but the actual supplies. So there were some funds that was paid to FYP, which they would just receive supplies from there, and then they in turn would have to construct the facilities themselves. So we're just waiting for FYP to release the actual supplies to them. So once we get confirmation from Works, and then we'll be able to do it in quick as possible.
A local businessman is proposing a new method of COVID testing for the Bahamas. This test doesn't involve a swab, but rather a dog. Kyle Joaquin has the story.
They're man's best friend. And now our 4-legged pals are being trained to help in the fight against COVID-19. With some airports across the world now using COVID-19 sniffing dogs that can alert you when someone is COVID positive, a local detection service company is pushing to make it a practice in the Bahamas.
So we entered a program where we were testing a few dogs on COVID, and we saw that it worked. So we went full steam ahead.
Dog World K9 has been in the business since 2015, specializing in narcotics, explosives, gun and ammunition detection. With biodetection now a thing in dogs, where they can basically sniff things like cancer and diabetes, these dogs now have the ability to sniff out COVID-19.
We have already done numerous studies with the dogs, and the dog will sit if you have COVID. The dog can detect COVID 5 days out.
So we got gloved up and placed a COVID-19 positive sample in a jar.
And this is here?
Right in there.
Okay. Close this back.
We then placed it in one of 4 pipes at the end of a little course and brought out Oscar, the German Shepherd.
Hey, Oscar. How's it going, pal? Oh, no, okay, that's right. That's right. All right, so Oscar's now going to go sniff. I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But one of them has the COVID sample.
Yes.
And he's going to sit on the side of the one that has the COVID
He's going to sit
sample.
on the one that has the COVID sample.
All right, let's...
So as you can tell, he is at the one with the COVID sample now, and he is going to sit there until I either reward him or I call him to me.
Sure enough, that was the tube with the COVID-19 sample. So we shuffled it around and gave it another go, with me holding the leash this time.
Not too fast, hold a little bit more leash.
Okay. What do I say?
Is that it?
Yeah.
Where's your dog off?
What do I do?
Just tell him good boy and bring him this way.
Good boy, Oscar. Can you come? All right, okay.
The COVID-19 sniffing dogs are said to be 99% accurate. Forbes says he submitted proposals to 4 government ministries on utilizing the COVID-19 sniffing dogs, but has not gotten a response as yet. For our news, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
That is amazing. Thanks, Kyle. When our news returns, a women's group insists the issue of marital rape is not going away. And UB hits the starting block for track season. The details when our news returns.
Get that glorious internet connection back in business within seconds with the new self-help modem reset. Just follow these very easy steps. Step 1, call 601-2200 or 242-300-2200. Number 2, select option 3. Step 3, select option 2. Step 4, enter your 8-digit account number. Step 5, follow the prompts. It's really that simple. Rev, you and us together.
This is our news. Welcome back. The country's inaction on legislation against gender-based violence has been held up by one or two controversial issues, according to a women's leadership group. Chair of the Bahamas chapter of Caribbean Women in Leadership, Charlene Paul, says pushing the issue of marital rape to the side will not make it go away.
What happens is the bulk of concerns needed to be addressed from domestic violence, gender-based violence, do not get addressed because of this slither of the pie, this slice of the pie that is very controversial.
A recent study of mental health and negative sexual experiences of Bahamian University students found that close to 40% of male and female students agreed that rape cannot occur within marriage. In 2018, then Attorney General Carl Bethel told the United Nations Human Rights Council that the Bahamas government would criminalize marital rape. However, that didn't happen.
Our pushing it aside, our avoiding it is not helping us. And so I believe that we do need to speak up about it, speak out, have town hall sessions where the concerns, the fears, the misconceptions and perceptions are put on the table.
Shifting gears, the Caribbean Agriculture Research and Development Institute and the Center for Training and Innovation signing a memorandum of understanding for the training, education, and employment of Bahamians in the agriculture sector. The MOU will pave the way for programs for scientists, nutritionists, farmers, extension officers, agripreneurs, and teachers.
I am confident that through this strategic partnership and newly minted Memorandum of Understanding, we are planting seeds that will flourish today and into the future, while creating a ripple effect of new opportunities for our local farmers.
By embracing such initiatives and activities proposed under this partnership, the population will be enlightened to the fact that agriculture is not just about farming. In fact, as our minister said, we intend to sexify agriculture.
Over the next 5 years, both institutions will develop and implement training courses and programs in the various disciplines and share resources, experience, and knowledge. Agriculture Minister Clay Sweeting says the goal is to engage young people.
80% of our farmers are over the age of 60. It is very important for myself and this ministry to engage young persons in any solid house is built on a good foundation. When I met with a group of young farmers last week, they spoke a lot about education, and I think this signing today enhances that, and it's a first step in getting young persons involved.
Another tough loss for Team Bahamas. Marcellus Hall has that and more tonight in sports.
All right, thanks again, and welcome to our sports, everybody. I'm Marcellus Hall. There's a good news, bad news element to just about every equation. The good news for Team Bahamas is that they were getting their toughest opponent out of the way in the World Cup qualifiers. The bad news, they knew wins would be hard to come by. Let's take a look in last night's game. Team Bahamas back in action against Team Canada at the World Cup qualifiers in Dominican Republic. Second game between the two squads, with Canada winning the first in blowout fashion. The Bahamas hoping for a much better result in this second go-round. After the first quarter, still a good game here, as Canada would lead 34-26 at the end of one, and they would hold on to that lead. They go up at the half, 58-46. Eventually, going on to the easy victory here, 113-77, 36-point margin as the Bahamas there trying to still find a victory at these World Cup qualifiers. Still going on, still going strong. As the team now disappointed in the 0-2 outing. You'll have to come back again in the next set of games coming up a little bit later on this year. Meanwhile, the University of the Bahamas track and field team held its annual time trials Monday morning, kicking off the season for the Mingos. Mingos hold the time trials before the start of the season to get a baseline of the team's performances as competition starts. It also gives coaches a chance to see where some of the athletes are struggling and where some are excelling. Some also get a chance to work on specific details or aspects of their race.
This is actually my first 60-meter run. I was working on doing something different rather than doing more of a strength training. I try to get on the speed aspects of things. So hopefully, I feel good about it. So hopefully I'll continue to work hard and push for next season with a faster pace in the 400 meters.
You know, after such a long time not competing during the course of the pandemic and getting back into, competing collegiate-wise, I feel good about it. Some good times thus far. It showed that most of them are ahead of where they were when we had the actual pandemic. So I'm excited about this upcoming season.
And of course, Monday Night Football rounding out the week of action here in the NFL. Taking a quick look at last night's game, Seattle Seahawks taking on the Washington football team. And, how far have the Washington football team come? They have done some amazing things over the last few weeks as they kind of established themselves as a pretty decent team as of late. Last night, once again, getting it done as they get the victory here over the Seattle Seahawks. Final score ends up being a pretty good one for them. They go ahead and win 17-15 in a tough one. Washington continues to improve as the season goes on. And that's your check on sports for you here on this Tuesday. I'm Marcellus Hall. Back to you.
Thanks, Marcellus. Still ahead, St. Andrews celebrates a major milestone. Stay with us.
Get that glorious internet connection back in business within seconds with the new self-help modem reset. Just follow these very easy steps. Step 1, call 601-2200 or 242-300-2200. Number 2, select option 3. Step 3, select option 2. Step 4, enter your 8-digit account number. Step 5, follow the prompts. It's really that simple. Rev, you and us together.
Welcome back to our news. Sunny skies ahead. Greg is back in the Weather Center with a look ahead.
Thanks again, Christina. Welcome back, everybody, for your second look at weather. On our satellite view, frontal boundary pushing across the deep south, Nagua and the Turks and Caicos Islands, seeing some cloudiness with some small showers. Front should exit the area by tonight, later on, and that high pressure system that's building across us will continue to generate some very pleasant conditions over the next couple of days. Temperatures will be very comfortable in the upper 70s to the very low 80s during the daytime, and our overnight low temperatures will dip into the 60s. The tropics quiet. Today officially marks the end of the Atlantic hurricane season. Very active out there, 21 named storms. Of course, our systems are going to continue to be monitored over the next couple of days, but today actually officially ends the Atlantic hurricane season. Boating forecast. For all areas tonight through tomorrow, your winds will be out of the northeast to east at 10 to 15 knots. Seas running 2 to 4 feet over the ocean. Tide is presently high, will be low at 10-19 tonight. Here's a look now at your national forecast. Look now at your extended forecast through Tuesday. That's a look at our weather. Make it a safe night, everybody. Back to you, Christina.
Thanks, Greg. In celebration of the 50th anniversary of its Yamacraw campus, St. Andrews International School invited alumni Loretta Butler Turner to plant a tree on the school's campus. The former opposition leader reflected on the evolution of the private school.
But what we see here today is not what always existed. This area right here, from here go way back north, was nothing but barren land with lots and lots of rocks.
Butler Turner noted that her older brother was the first black student to attend St. Andrews in 1967. She planted a Brazil wood tree from Eleuthera. Thank you for joining us for our news tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Christina Dragovich. Stay tuned for Hallmark's Under the Autumn Moon right here on RTV. Have a beautiful evening, Bahamas.